You got
Got
that
that already?
Yeah.
Okay.
What else information you need?
There you go.
Huh? No, this is another.
Alright.
Good.
Alright, sir. Thanks, Mr. Dan.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes, ma'am.
My caption is not completed, so I know.
Okay, you can give me what's about midnight? You can flip it to me. I'll give you my email address. You can flip it.
Not exactly working at night, that's a challenge right there. It's
Oh,
time
okay.
and day. Get a couple more days, I know I can lose 10%.
If you could get a couple more days?
Like
When
I'm
I
off
find
Monday.
Trying to figure when I supposed to do that. I got so much going on right now. So you're saying I'll get that by Monday? Okay, Monday I'll get it from you Monday then.
I'm off Monday and Tuesday, like my 2 free days, and it's be like kind of, you know what it is, when you work in nights, it's kind of challenging. So sometimes even though I've been trying, like I've been so broken down for working, yeah.
Boy, I got a lot going on myself. So I hear what you're saying, but
So I
finding the
like-
time. I mean, the time I have allocated. So what I could do, Monday, if you get it to me Monday, I guess by 12 midnight. But yeah, I could get it by Monday. If you give me to me Monday 12, that could work. So you got today, you know,
Because I
tomorrow.
have a lot of information, so
Uh-huh.
I research a lot of information over the past couple of months, but I just trying to apply the information based on what y'all
Okay.
and follow it through. I don't really have no guidance right now
Hey,
at this
Miss
point.
Sis, how you doing? Yeah, so if you get it by Monday, Tuesday morning will be good.
Bishop, is he feeling well?
Again? Okay, well, let
He
me-
said to send your email address.
Yeah.
For his paper.
Okay. But everyone else will turn in their paper. So, yeah.
You
So
can
you
email
give
it to you or hard copy. Email is fine, right?
the person from Freeport already emailed theirs.
Okay.
So you could
prefer
email it. If you, yeah, Bishop could send it by email too. I'll print it, but if you have a hard copy now, I'll take that. Yeah? Where number 5 going?
She went to
Oh,
the
the hot
States.
chocolate is on the desk right there.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes,
so-
she had her exam day.
Okay, she always the last one to do everything.
No, she was saying June 1st. But she won't be here on June 1st, so she have to go. She went to see Miss Dean.
Okay, so she want to do it when?
So she wanted, that's why she went to Miss Dean. She had to find out when she could do it.
Oh, okay. Alright.
She said you could start.
That what she said? Okay. So, okay, folks, since number 5 got her own thing going on, we can start backtracking pretty much. Just so you know, the course assessment, just a quick reminder, the class participation. Every attendance of class, that's a mark towards that 10%. Yeah? And of course, we have the regular suspects, persons who are always here, so you guarantee your 10%. You ain't got to worry about that. If you were here at least, let's just say 90% of the time, you still get the 10%. Yeah? But most, you got, I've seen 1 or 2 persons who've been here once and I ain't seen them since. I was like, okay, but up to them. But I mean, it's only 10%, but they do add up. 10% make nothing to sneeze at. Then you have the your paper, which is 20%. Some persons, 1 or 2 persons told me they ain't really on the paper run, so that's no problem. If you ain't coming to class, and if you ain't doing no paper, that's already 30%. So I mean, you have to get 100% on what the balance. So if you want to do, I mean, no problem. Yeah, I mean,
You
you
only
know,
get 5% for coming to class?
hey, that's better than nothing. But if you decide that that's what you want to do, all right, cool. I mean, I ain't gonna fight you. Then we have the final exam, which is actually 70%. And how the paper is being broken down. Sorry, the exam is going to be broken down. I just didn't want to sit low. That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
All right. Your final paper is going to be actually in 4 parts. Yeah, I know. Some people like they shock. So myself and the other lady who was doing the other class, we agreed. Give and take. I did some sections. She did some sections. There was a pool. We pulled out some questions that we're going to use. It was agreed this is the route we're going to take. So you're going to have multiple choice. You will only have 10 questions. Multiple choice that you'll have to answer.
10 multiple choice.
10 multiple choice, and that's going to account for 2 points each. Yeah? Then you will have 1 mandatory question. That's the big boy. That's 20%. Sorry, 20 points. That one big question. Then you can have another part, which is a part C. There are going to be 6 questions. You'll have to choose 4.
One mandatory question is worth how many points?
20 points.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's
So you said 4.
Then you're going to have a part C where you have 6 questions. Out of that 6 questions, that pool you have to pick out 4. Any 4 to answer. Yeah, any 4, and that would be worth 10 points. Okay, I gotta repeat it because number 5 coming back again.
Thank you, Ginger.
So just to recap again, the exam is gonna look like this. You're gonna have, it's gonna be actually in 4 parts. Part A, you're gonna have to answer 10 multiple choice questions. For each correct one, you get 2 points. It's open. Oh, come right back, folks.
You think you'll tell us which chapter the 20-point question is based out of? Yeah, because we don't need to know the exact thing, but just at least which chapter it is. Yeah. I don't think that would be asking too much.
And the final part of the
No, he didn't get the final.
Yeah.
No, he said the final one is 4 parts.
But I want to know which chapter the 20 points is based on. Yeah.
And that's why I say there's so much information to retain.
So at least if I know that 20.1.
But if you look over the past, over the 10 chapters, a lot of the information carries over.
Yeah.
So it's mentioned in every chapter, a piece of it.
Yeah,
So if
especially
you
the
cover-
ones with
you
like
cover
risk
risk, you cover risk and FATF,
Yeah.
you good.
There is basically a risk-based approach.
Mm-hmm.
Why? I'll tell you something. We are fine when they talk about behavioral jurisdiction on methodologies and stuff like that.
Just read the book. This is the book to you, not the methodology, it's not the book.
We're in the back.
Right after the chapters, if you go, there's a lot of information right in the same book.
We're here in the Bahamas.
Yep.
Yes, ma'am.
That's all serious. We need to pick one, right?
I can recap it. I'll recap it. I know you're thinking he must be an idiot. Yeah. Okay, so just to recap, because number 5 went out here. So the assessment would be this. The exam is actually in 4 parts, A through D. Part A is actually a multiple choice. There's going to be 10 questions. Everyone in here better be able to answer them. Because boy, look here. I'll be very hot if anyone don't get 10 out of 10. Very hot. And each correct answer, 2 points. Then you'll have the part B. It's one mandatory question. You have to answer this one. And I've seen the question. And I would be very, very disappointed and hot if you all don't go to town on that.
Which chapter?
None yet.
Like we don't need to know
None
the
of your business.
specific, but just at
Huh?
least what the chapter is.
Yeah.
No, that's cheating, Ginger. That's At least tell me the chapter. I mean the chapter right there will actually tell you everything, Ginger. We had a whole section on last week on ethics. Ethics. We had a whole section on ethics.
you, girl.
Yeah, well, that is
You
all
don't
right.
know Jenny.
Any extra, I know.
Who's that? Oh, that one? No, I ain't know that one. I have to email that one to you.
Just 9 and 10.
Oh, okay. You just out for the 9th and the 10th. You would have to send me the email like how you did in the past, and I'll flip it to you. Oh, yeah. You know how we used to do it. You know, I always send you the papers when you're here. So, and then there's a part C. You're going to have a pool of 6 questions, and out of that 6, you have to pick 4. Yeah?
So
2. Yeah, that's part C. 6 questions, and out of that pool, you have to pick out 4. And for each one correct, you'll get 10 points. Yeah? And for that one, 3 of them are tricky. You know, you got to work on that one. That one is a little tricky. I can be honest with you. But I think you can pull it off. But 3 of the tricky questions, I can touch on them today. I can expand on those.
Awesome.
Telling you what they are. No, tell us. Aren't you friend? You heard about awesome? Awesome nothing?
I keep my ass open. You say keep your ass open.
I will give you some hints and some suggestions. Word to the wise is sufficient. Then you have a part D. True or false. So either you know it or you don't know it. Yeah, you got two options. You have true and you got false. Hey, how are you?
Tell me those questions.
Just copy it. And the register is floating somewhere around. You can get it. So out of that, you have to answer all. It's you get 2 points.
How many questions?
10.
Okay.
It's going to be 10. So let me tell you what I see you mashing up real easy. True and false. I would be very disappointed if you don't go and you mash that up. So that's 20% right there. That's 20 points. Sorry. And then you have the multiple choice. Very disappointed. Broke my heart if you don't get another 20%. That's 40 right there. My Lord, you gotta get 65, right? And then when you got to choose that mandatory question, even you get half of that. That right there is 10. Yeah. Who?
You said 2 points, right?
Yeah. Yeah, for the true and false and the multiple choice. And of course, like I said, I actually worked on the questions just last week.
You worked
Finalized
on the
it.
mandatory question?
I had a contribution to that. But the for sure, I had some questions that. Yeah, it's supposed to be tough. Can't be straightforward. But I had a hand in it, so I will. Today we're gonna go through. I'm not gonna tell you what questions gonna be there. I'm gonna go through some questions from the pool.
Yeah, I got
Areas that you need to look at. There, you, I know lighthouse. I ain't pointing you in no direction. That's what you're trying to. So, having said that, let's begin. AML, ATF, the context. Going back. Is anyone on? Did anyone call it? No?
I didn't hear it right.
Okay, so, oh well. So, just a reminder, the exam is actually on the 1st.
Show the first.
Showing the 1st, so it's not on the 25th. I'm the only one who behind the 8 ball because, I guess because there was a week difference somewhere. Either a pushback or something going on. But
We
anyhow.
started a week later.
Yeah, so it's, it's cool. I
Same
mean,
time? Or?
Yeah.
12:30 right here?
Yeah. So, but that's why an exam, well, again, I'm expecting everyone to,
I can't take.
once you engage yourself. Sorry? Oh, the young lady who came in the back, you didn't get a O. Henry, you know. You didn't get your O. Henry.
Well.
So Henry you could get, we gotta account for this. So you can get one O. Henry right here. Yeah. Alright.
You want me to carry this aboard?
Not really. So now since he's not here, we'll see how it progresses because if other persons come in, Bishop just misses blessing. I would have given you a handout. It's called the Unexplained Wealth Order. Yeah? Everyone got a copy of that? When you came in, I gave you that handout.
That's what the mandatory calls.
I can't say. Ginger, you wait for the police department. You pressuring me into the reason why I gave those. You didn't get one? Okay, let me give you a copy of one of them. The reason why I'm giving this is because we're considering perhaps putting this there. Word to the wise.
Considering. I like.
Wait, you reckon you know you the unexplained wealth orders in a nutshell is this. Pretty much you know that we had some members of parliament. They were arrested, they went before court for corruption. And right now the international standard is saying that you have to beat out corruption. Yeah? And that was a good opportunity after those persons were arrested that now, hey, we have to go after all this unexplained wealth. You had persons going into the House Assembly with $25,000 to the name. 5 years later, they got like $6 million on their account. Got subdivision name after their kids. So, I mean, unless you were really shrewd in how you invest it, the government don't pay that well. Because a member of parliament only getting like what $20-something thousand, and if you have a portfolio, you probably may make $70,000-$80,000. Backbenchers don't really get that. Not doing this all day, so they don't really get paid. So unexplained wealth is a big issue. So now this is an order now where the courts can go after these persons who, such as politicians who hold prominent public function, like chairman of government boards, stuff like that, who have positions of influence and trust, ascertain as to, well, how do you acquire all of this wealth? They can actually take that process. The paper I gave you, you can expand on that because you may see that.
But just to be clear, I noticed it says that the Unexplained Wealth law is to target persons who are PEPs, politically exposed persons. But
It's
it
more
can
than
be
it's
applied.
yes.
Yeah,
It ain't
okay.
just PEP because a lot of persons out there. You got the drug dealers too.
Right.
If they
Okay.
can't, if you pull up on you're a police, and you pull up on this person, he got, let's just say, remember I gave you that scenario, the fella out east,
Yes.
and he had the $1 million plus in his home. If he had that order back then, that could have been, yeah. Under the Unexplained Wealth, we could go after that because he didn't just say where the money came from. You remember I showing you his NIB contributions, and he's saying he invested in this and that, just didn't add up. So this order is very timely. But it's drug dealers, fraudsters, primarily it's the focus on politicians. So you may get a question asked, I don't know, who's the target of this particular order? Poison. Hey, how you doing? Let me give you one of these right here. So this is me?
Yeah.
There you go.
Can't you chocolate to turn it in, girl?
You got a chocolate bar.
Oh.
One bar. There you go. Alright. So that, another one. You mean you ain't
So
coming
this
in
particular
the,
order has already been filed.
sorry?
This particular order has already been filed?
Yes, because it actually came into effect. It's not nothing new, but 2018, you remember the Proceeds of Crime Act?
Yeah,
That came out as an amendment to the act.
okay.
Yeah, I remember the former prime minister, well, the current prime minister, that was part of the mandate, beating out corruption. You all remember that on the campaign trail? And then when those persons were prosecuted, now to give them teeth or power, they now have this order they can go after. We need to know how you acquired this. Yeah, we need financials, we need audits as to how you acquired these assets. And when you cannot demonstrate how you would have acquired the assets, it can be forfeited and go into the confiscated asset fund. Yeah, so you lose all of those assets that you can't explain if you are a target of the order. Yeah. So you should be able to run the town on that particular one. Actually, even if you want to even go a little further, the UK has a good background information on how the order works. But as it applies to us, because it's new, you can Google it. You can just go to Google and your search engine, just put in Unexplained Wealth Order Bahamas. And you probably will get like 100 different options pop up. Yeah, but what I did, I went and I extracted some information and I typed this up. Just, hey, how you doing? Here you go. See how you get everything? Find it and everything? There you go. All right. Yeah. So I guess I have to do a quick recap again because you have a chocolate bar. Let's see a chocolate bar right here. Yeah, this is only for the persons who come out and bearing, with the rain and all that stuff. But this ain't for everybody. So you got a chocolate bar. Just a quick recap again, because you did come in late. I think it was a couple of you. In terms of the exam, it's going to be 4-part, because a lot of folks have asked
I
me.
have a quick suggestion. You can't just write it on the board, right? So as people come in, they
But then it'll show up on the thing I'm doing. Doing that.
Because
I'll save that for the end then.
Yeah,
I'll save it for the end, because we keep going back.
yeah, they're gonna cap it.
Just write it on the board and then everybody.
Yeah, but then when you have other slides and stuff that we may cover, it may come up.
Right.
Yeah.
Like concern.
Sorry,
I don't want to
no.
miss on the information you have to share.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
She making sure she covered. Boy, you good, boy. You good. Okay, so what I'm gonna go through is some of the. I'm not gonna say go through all the questions per se, but I'm gonna go through the pool.
Okay.
I know what the questions are, but I'm gonna throw some questions. So I don't need you to do too much right now. I need to hear from you. The only way you read a lot of this stuff. If you follow the procedure, you read before class, we go through it in class, you have that 30-minute break. So now you're here. I'm going to throw some stuff with you and perhaps I'm going to randomly ask you. I might not tell you if it's right or wrong. I might suggest some stuff to you. Calories, I don't like that look. Like you used to look like you won't get the answer and you won't make a note of it.
Huh?
Huh?
Go ahead.
Okay. So having said
I
that,
don't like what you put forward just now though.
what did you put forward? You wanted me to give you the answer?
We want to hear from you.
Put on the
Yes, we
spot.
will hear from you.
That's
I wouldn't
Put me
know.
on
I
the
wouldn't
spot, I
know
don't
right
like
answer.
it.
Sorry, you want to know the right answer. What kind of class you listen? I mean, what school this is?
Let me help
at
you
the
out
end
a
of the
little
day.
bit here. Y'all just need to go, listen, and go with the flow, and then when we hear, we have to say we go from there. That's not cut it off the head because we might not get nothing, okay? So that's
Yeah, that's true. I like how she's think. Yeah,
You understand what I'm saying?
yeah, you're right. You ain't get nothing.
Because some people ain't getting nothing, so that's not.
So let me throw a few of these just to jog your memory. First and foremost, going through the manual. Did everyone actually read when we had an opportunity, a 30-minute break, or when you go home to actually look at some of that stuff? Do you do a reread? Yeah. Any particular section or area you weren't comfortable with? Go ahead. You were about to say something. You clearing your throat.
The Patriot Act,
Uh-huh.
there's a lot to cover on that.
We
Is
got
that
to know the forms,
necessarily
numbers,
gonna be?
No, you wouldn't need to know all the form numbers. It'll be good if you know it, but it wouldn't be hard and fast. You have to know it. Yeah.
This may be a bad comment to make, but those are US tax forms, and we have to remember this is a class based on the Bahamas jurisdiction. So those kind of things, like if you know it, it's great, but I don't think you have to.
We have example
Well,
in other classes
I'll-
I have.
WA Benny's and WA and
Yes,
WI.
that's right, ma'am. That's right.
Well,
They US tax form, FATCA related. I don't know how much.
when you hear a question posed to you, internet. When you hear questions posed to you like international standards, you may have to refer to the acts, like your foreign account compliance. It make me forget what FATCA means now. Foreign account compliance. Yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah, it's at a brain moment there. Okay, so let me run through a few of these. Not necessarily on the question, but this is from the pool.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a pool, but those would be drawn from the pool. I can't say, but I'll throw some stuff for there to you. Fair enough.
Fair enough.
So you can't expect parties on to cheat. Yeah.
Got it.
Okay. Did anyone read the CFATF report of 2017? You remember they said we had some issues in 2017.
That's where we were upgraded on 13, I think,
There were some recommendations made. We got beat upon.
Actually, the
National risk
whole
assessment.
report.
You mean the
It's a
national?
short report.
I didn't know.
It's not even long. Sorry.
The national risk assessment?
No, actually, it's the CFATF report. They did an assessment of the country,
Okay.
and out of that, we didn't have a risk assessment ready in time when they came.
No.
We had it prepared after they left. CFATF report. I suggested you read that. And what was the issues that were raised? And I would suggest that you how to remediate those based on what come out of that report. I would strongly suggest, because I'm being recorded, strongly suggest you look at the CFATF report of 2017 and the issues that were raised. So how we are going to address them or are currently working towards addressing them. That right there sounds like 5 points to me.
Alright.
That's fine, that's plenty. That's plenty right there. That's plenty. That one is
What other class you know when people get look at the question before you do the but you know that God somewhere ain't right with this, you know. But anyhow.
That's like 137 pages.
Knowing the difference between tax evasion and tax avoidance, I think it's very important. And I would suggest that you know international standards as it relates to tax. You will hear tax at least dos. Not uno, but dos.
What do you mean by international standards related to tax? That's a broad comment.
Okay, well, I can't. You want you.
No, I'm not trying to get
When
into it.
first of all, you need to establish what is tax avoidance, what is tax evasion.
that
So you know how to differentiate.
Yes.
You know what's the international standard as to you can't further standard on that. OECD standard. You good boy. I don't talk to you no more for the rest of the day. You just milking me, man.
No, I'm not. No,
Yes,
I'm
you
not.
are. You're like okay.
Okay.
So how would
Okay.
I don't want to talk to you no more. I'll talk to everyone else. The MLRO's rule. You need to know that. Yeah? You
Yeah.
need to know what exactly the MLR's function is. And culture. Culture. I'm just throwing out words there. I mean, like culture. When you hear culture, it's the norms unique to an organization or people. Cultures, culture and how they affect the organization. Be familiar with that word, corporate governance. Yeah?
The word, sorry,
Corporate governance.
is this something separate or this stems from the word culture? Never mind.
Yeah, let me launch it there.
Okay,
So
sorry.
the MLR function for sure, culture. I mean organization. And when you talk about the culture, various persons have a role to play in maintaining this culture. Yeah. Persons like who? People at the top. Go ahead, Miss Smith. You got it. You want to roll it there. You like butter. So people at the top includes who?
Directors.
Yes. Know what they do when you hear the board. Because if you got a question and it's 25 points and they say explain culture, I'm just saying, you better go to town. Don't come looking at me or calling me. You should know what the board does. They come. Huh? Accountability as it relates to that. Refresh your memory on these three bodies. IMF, OECD, FATF. You notice when you did the introductory, we talk about FATF to debt. Intermediary, we talk about FATF to debt. FATF, Financial Action Task Force, we call it FATF for short. FATF. We spoke about that in lengths in the intro, and now the intermediary. I think we done beat that to death. Now the, what they say, the rooster is coming home, whatever coming home, the rooster, however it's meant to fix that story. Because you will have to say how these particular bodies affect the Bahamas.
What's the three bodies?
IMF, OECD, and the FATF.
Well, that goes back to one of the questions you had cast on the very last one. You could be.
Well, if you can remember that, yeah, you should go to town.
I'm just saying you could use something.
Yeah.
Because it talks about international.
Yeah, and you just recently did that, so you could jump on that and you could beat that to death. Yeah. Hey, Eddie.
Thank you.
Alright. Then, this is an easy one. You can't miss this one. And I don't even, I ain't gonna say it can be on the exam, but how do you conduct a risk analysis of a product or a client? What would you look for when you're doing a risk assessment of a client or a product? If a product or an individual, how do you conduct a risk assessment? Yeah? You remember we spent a lot of time on risk assessment, especially when you're talking about doing a risk rating of an individual. You're looking at what country they're from, type of products and services they get in, how do they get the products and service, are they PEP related perhaps? Is there anything untoward known about them, media-wise or whatever? There's a whole section on that, but definitely risk assessment, you can't avoid that. You will get 2 questions as relates to risk assessment. You can borrow my pen. Risk assessment. Oh, sorry. What? Go back?
No, those are.
Oh, okay. You will certainly see something on sanctions. Yeah? You can't get around sanctions. They will be there. Perhaps you may have to choose out of a pool. Do you want to talk on, are you comfortable speaking on or writing on sanctions? Do you know what a sanction is? How will that affect us in the Bahamas, with our financial sector? Are you familiar with any case studies, perhaps? Have you heard of anyone ever getting sanctioned before? Perhaps it would strengthen your position if you would know at least one or two sanction case where a bank was fined for doing something when it shouldn't have been doing it as relates to sanction. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
could say you could use your case.
No, I don't know. No, boy, don't bring me into that. That don't even. Wait, yes, it's open. So that one, for. Oh, hey, how you? Alrighty. Oh, okay, I know what that is. I think I printed that one. But anyhow. So, I think you will have to expand on this one here. With the sanctions one, you may be there may be one or two countries thrown in there. You may have to say, well, why is this country considered high risk when you do the sanction? You may have to do a little summary to the board as relates to sanctions. Let me give you an example. North Korea. Do you know why they're sanctioned?
The weapons they have.
Nuclear capability, proliferation, nuclear proliferation. Yeah, you can hear that word again, proliferation. No, you don't want to hear it. Know what proliferation means.
Proliferation increase of mass.
Weapons of mass destruction, nuclear capability. That's proliferation. But you need to have a definition for that in your head if that's a go-to. I see that is not in your word. Huh?
They mass production of weapons. I think
That's part of it, but have a working definition of proliferation. It's the capability. And we talk not just nuclear weapons, weapons of mass destruction. We talk about nuclear substances too. Yeah. So have a definition.
How they killed that man the other day with the chemical weapons. All that.
Huh? I mean, I'm talking in terms of a definition, just to know what it is. But if that's asked of you, I'm just saying, you probably have someone to know that. Yeah, I already talked about that one with about culture. IMF knows different stuff. Definitely not to know about your tax. Suspicious transaction reporting. Be familiar with the process, and for whether you have internal procedures where it's submitted from staff directly to the MLRO. The MLRO makes a submission to the FIU, and it's a subjective report, by the way. It's based on the MLRO's review and determination that it's warranted, that it should be submitted. Yeah. Various. Hey, you say Barry. On the various steps. Oh, you get a copy of this. I think I want that. Oh, I see a chocolate there too. Better. You only get one. Everyone get one.
Okay,
So,
cool.
You may get a scenario asked of you like, what would you do if you serve with a court order? What are your steps? I mean, most of you have never been, yes?
Did you say if you're serving a court order or if
No,
you're
the served
served
bit.
a court order?
As the MLRO, you're the,
Oh,
yeah, you're the linchpin. Everything comes to you. So what would you do in a scenario where your institution is served with a court order and it's served on you? What do you do? Yeah, what is your responsibility in that particular role as it relates to court orders and regulatory reporting? You about to say something? Go ahead. You.
if you were the MLRO.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
in that MLR role.
Okay.
Be prepared to be able to speak to that too. Okay, let me put that one on the side. I did mention the CFODF report of 2017, so you gotta know what actually took place in that report, what deficiencies that were raised, what are we doing, what is expected of us.
Was 20 what?
2017, the C5 report. Now I know y'all got a copy of it there, so y'all could just go on the shelf and pull that down. Y'all fortunate fellas over there. Let me see. Sanctions, actually, yes, twice. Beneficial ownership. You will see that. If not twice, but definitely once. Perhaps. I'm suggesting. Change your word again now. I see you going to say something now.
No.
I see you got your hand up like people in the church. What that mean?
No, I wasn't gonna say anything.
Okay. Beneficial ownership. Get acquainted with that word. Yeah? Everyone is comfortable with who the beneficial owner is. And it's not necessarily the person whose name is on the account. It's the person behind the
owner of the assets.
Yeah, who actually, controlling this account, not just your name. Yeah, because you could have a nominee company that's really the beneficial owners. You only acting on behalf. Beneficial owners. Beneficial ownership. Please, you want to remember that. It's the reason why I'm stressing this. Yeah? Beneficial ownership. Okay. So I want to come to me later on and say, oh, hey, I was blindsided. I hate you. I hope you die a slow death. So, beneficial ownership, and what does the international standard say about beneficial ownership? Yeah? Do we? Okay, what is the international standard? What does FATF say as it relates to beneficial owners? Do you need to identify who the beneficial owners are for?
That's number 2016.
That's recommendation number 24.
When we get international standards, should we automatically assume FATF?
No. But FATF is when it comes to AML, that's the champion, if you will. Most everything comes from them. They have something to say on just with any subject as it relates to AML. But there are other champions out there like OECD. They have a standard too, or there may be a basic standard, but FATF has something to say. But in this regard, recommendation 24 speaks to beneficial ownership. Yeah? Be familiar with what FATF say you need to do. And remember now, they are the standard for the world when it comes to AML. You got other people out there, but FATF is the most credible one. That's the standard. That's the fellows who started this thing. Yeah? Recommendation 24, so you have to do X, Y, and Z. So now when you cite in your response, you got to say, according to FATF, recommendation 24, all countries are required to know the beneficial owner because X, Y, and Z. Yeah? And further to that, you want to start thinking about what are we doing? If they say all the countries, all the FIs, financial institutions need to know who the BOs are, what are we doing? If
What do you mean not beneficial owner?
you can show yourself off, yeah? You can show yourself off.
The Bahamas is number 5. The Bahamas is implementing a requirement for a beneficial owner registry. So you will have to not only I think they're going to allow a competent, I'm not sure who it is.
It's going to be the Attorney General's office.
Attorney General's office.
Mhm.
Yeah, you have to be able, which is interesting because we have to do that now. But
So
it's going to be formalized.
Yes.
And punishable.
Oh, yes. And that isn't the registry is not for all and sundry.
No.
You know, anyone can just go, oh, I need to know who's the owner of so and so. I don't work like that. No. The AG's office is the competent authority that would be fall within their purview. But let me drop a little nugget of information on you. On the 20th of December, 2018, the Register of Beneficial Ownership Act came into effect in the Bahamas. And I'll say it again. The 20th of December, 2018, the Register of Beneficial Ownership Act came into effect in the Bahamas. And this came about as a recommendation by the OECD and the FATF. Now I give you a starting point. You should run with that. And of course, the Attorney General's office, they have the responsibility of oversight of this, we call it secure search system or registry. Either way you want to put it, registry or secure search system, they have ownership of that. Yeah? But look that up, beneficial ownership and the registry. So when you see that question, that 50 point, perhaps, for that,
Yeah.
you should go to town, Della.
Mm-hmm.
You see it, alright. Alright.
I'm trying to find the
Which one?
C5 report assessment that y'all say is short, and the only one I'm finding is 157 pages.
It's about
Why you looking at it now?
I'm looking for it. You can catch up. But y'all say it's short, so I'm thinking it's something. Didn't you say it was short?
No, it's not.
Let me ask you.
Which assessment is this? What yeah?
Go to, once you put in the C5 report of 2017, hear what the Guardian got to say about it. There are some key points. The Guardian have the highlighted points.
So
in
it
it.
is the 157-page report you're talking about.
It's about
Oh,
that.
y'all
That
say
ain't
it's
long.
short.
Look at the
That ain't long. You
page.
want my 3-year-old? That's long. I
That
don't
ain't
need
long.
to quiet that long.
The Patriot, you know how long the Patriot Act is?
3-year-old. That's long. All right, thank you. Okay, the Guardian.
So those ones would be the ones that you would have to expand on a lot. If they were in the pool, just saying, if.
Don't need to waste brain space.
Sorry?
Don't need to waste brain space.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. I mean, 'cause technically I'm supposed to be doing this.
Exactly.
Sorry?
I agree with you.
Uh,
Hey, it finally happened.
Yeah. I feel like I'm being on trial. I mean, I'm actually helping, but then I get beat up. But anyhow. So, like I said, there's a component of true and false. I'm going to randomly ask some questions in here.
Right now?
Yeah. I ain't saying they're going to be on no test, but I'm just randomly saying some stuff. Here. True or false? It's a requirement for a financial institution to have an MLRO and a deputy MLRO.
No.
I think that's false.
I don't know. I'm just saying, there's just some.
Well, that's a deputy MLRO. I never heard of it.
Yeah, deputy MLRO is the person if you're MLRO dad who can step up.
Mm-hmm.
I know they're not required to be registered with the CB. I know that for sure. Only the MLRO has to be registered.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So the answer
I know, right?
Mr.
Sorry, ask your question.
Yeah,
Is it
yeah.
required by legislation or do you?
No, there is nothing in legislation that speaks to a deputy MLRO.
Okay.
There is nothing in legislation. But you should have a backup. That's your internal workings, but this not
Exactly.
required.
Okay, I just
It's
want
not
to be.
required.
What's the
'cause that's
structure of the question?
distinction. That's why I asked that specific question because how it's approached is how you have to determine your answer.
The enhanced due diligence that's required for a PEP includes approval from senior management, source of wealth, source of funds, and ongoing monitoring.
True.
Sure.
Yes.
Say it again.
You want to write this in? I don't trust you, man. Enhanced due diligence that is required for a PEP includes approval from management, source of wealth, source of funds, and ongoing monitoring. I don't know. You tell me. I don't know.
True.
You may see it. You may
That
not
sound
see
true?
it. It sounds true.
Ongoing,
It
yeah.
sounds true.
That depends on the school.
Ah, boy, I tell you.
If you're having a discussion with the other law, you're supposed to correct us, shouldn't you? I'm only
Really
asking.
pushing it, boy.
You know, if you have to correct us.
You late. You missed the first time.
Yeah. You, Della, you want me to just go and read from the book? That's what you want me to do. That's what you want. That's what you aiming for.
If I got late you. Yeah. You can.
Yeah, go ahead.
Customer due diligence should be carried out when establishing a relationship, transactions over 15,000, and doubtful customer data.
I'm doubtful.
Customer data.
That sounds true, but depends.
Okay, customer due diligence should be carried out. when establishing a relationship, transactions over 15K, or doubtful customer information. And if you go to Central Bank Guideline A, if a non-customer over 15,000, one-off,
Yeah.
occasional transaction, you have to get full KYC on them. Sorry? Okay.
Internal policy problem.
Yeah. That's probably the position you take, but if you're not a customer of ours, we need to do business with you. We need to have KYC. So it's true or false? I would say it's true. I would say it's true. Before you establish that relationship, you need to do CDD on that person. CDD is KYC. You need to know who this person is. If it's an occasional client, 15,000, or if you have doubts about some information, you need to ask more questions by way of CDD. So I would say it's true. That's just me. I don't know what Barry thoughts about that, but that's just me. When we file reports as it relates to FATCA, the report is submitted directly to the IRS.
When who, the institution files
The
a report?
financial institution,
File a report,
We
right?
file directly with IRS.
Who-
We file
who-
with the competent authority.
which is
What's the question?
I was just on the website.
the filing of, for FATCA purposes on US clients. Do we file those direct to the IRS? We file those directly to the IRS.
No, we
No,
don't.
Ministry of Finance.
No, it's not the ministry.
Yeah.
It is.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's a portal
international.
that we would have to
Yes.
go through to
Right,
the
I
financial.
Let's
don't
read
remember
that.
the name of the
Let's
form,
read
and it
that.
said tax administration or something like that on the form. I was just on it
Yeah,
on
it's
Friday.
through Ministry of Finance,
Okay,
so we would
but I
go
know
through
it's
them
not
to,
the
so we don't, that's the model we adopted, we didn't wanna, go directly to the IRS. So it's similar like the FIU. The Ministry of Finance acts as a buffer, so we would go through them. And with the FIU, instead of us going directly to the police, that's what we use. So there's that layer of buffering. For some reason, I don't know, people just don't trust
The
police
popos.
to go in direct with information, so it's channeled through the FIU by way of suspicious report, and if necessary, they would submit it. Same thing with the IRS, the average behemoth entity or company, or persons, they don't want that information going direct to them, so it's funneled through the Ministry of Finance. Yeah, that's the clearinghouse for the competent authority. A shell bank. Do you have a working definition of a shell bank? Are you comfortable with what a shell bank is?
Doesn't have a physical presence in the jurisdiction.
Mhm.
Long and short.
Okay.
Long and short.
Okay. Alright. An unusual cross-border movement of gold, diamonds, precious metals, and precious stones should be reported to FIU. You on a roll? Don't stop now. It's true or false?
Repeat the question.
Unusual cross-border movement of gold, precious metals, diamonds, precious stones should be reported to the FIU.
True.
By the amount of them,
But
Whomever.
Yeah, whoever. Yeah.
yeah.
True or false?
yeah, true. But man, who wanting them like who catching them like? How about know which bank? Like who's saying it's physical diamonds and gold? I mean,
The very fact that you use the word unusual.
Unusual? You would, yeah,
Yes,
that's
for me,
a
for me.
red
Once you say
flag.
unusual, yeah, you need to
Like
report that.
cross-border.
Yeah.
I just trying to figure out like who will see these things.
Once the information comes in your remit, regardless, it could be on paper, transactions, instructions to move stuff, and you're the MLRO, this client, he wants, I guess, buy all this diamonds and gold or whatever is moved through.
I've had clients who've access to purchase gold
Gotcha.
from
Mhm.
somewhere and move it to their physical location. Like we had a
Mhm.
crazy client who thought if the world was gonna end, he wanted his gold at his home. So he bought it somewhere and we had it arranged delivered to his house. I'm
Okay.
just saying, I've seen it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, to his house. He was a doomsday guy. He thought the world would end and he wanted his gold.
Does he get a
and we
bunker
purchased
too?
for him
Mhm.
in his possession.
Mhm.
Eccentric. When you have that much money, you could do that.
And talking about these suspicious reports again, have you ever heard of the term the Egmont Group? You've heard of them? I would strongly recommend.
You read the back of this thing up.
Yeah, that's.
They have the case studies for the Egmonts in the book. familiarize yourself with some of those. You may see it again.
Okay, so now you have to have a change.
Yes,
I was
ma'am.
reading some of this. It was so thick though.
How long is exam?
I think 3 hours. Yeah. I mean, you will not get it so fast. You gonna, this ain't no challenge. Stop wasting my time. You can be in and out.
Yeah, this Eggman was thick.
You can be in and out. You forget to join the payroll with. It was a part two. Too late, they ain't letting you back in here. So that's one I would strongly suggest. The egg one and some of the typologies. Be familiar with fraud. Fraud is a predicate offense to money laundering. Yeah. Familiarize yourself with that too. Yeah? I think I gave you all so much. I mean, like, if you come with the exam and you ain't mashing this up based on what I given you so far,
Just the true or false with that.
that ain't true and false.
Okay, that's a short answer.
I'm just randomly doing these stuff. Yeah. So, yeah, at this point. So, if you were to get the multiple choice questions, you may get a question. I could give you a question, but I ain't give you the answers, the validity. You may get a question that may ask something like, on who does the ultimate responsibility?
Oh, I know you was gonna pick that question.
Who does the what?
Ultimate responsibility.
And I stop right there. Dot. I stop right there.
But the question is,
No,
No what?
you were gonna finish?
Let them number 5 doesn't give it away, man.
I didn't give away
She
what?
done
I
kill
didn't
it,
give
man.
away
You just
Number
you
five.
say no.
What did I say?
You don't know.
Exactly. So I didn't give away.
And you can
anything.
help her on.
I didn't give away anything just now. I don't know what you're talking about.
At least you know. Just say you know.
I know.
On who does the ultimate responsibility for an institution's AML program rest? And you will be given some options. And I can leave it at that. Yeah?
AML what rest?
ultimate responsibility.
Okay. Who does the ultimate responsibility for an institution's AML program rest with? And you're going to be given 5 options.
5?
I like that answer. Like what they trying to do, yeah.
Yeah, you'll be given 5 options. You will pick which one.
So let me tell you.
The last word you said was rest.
What did the answer come out?
Rest,
Two people?
rest.
Go with that one.
Let me give you another one.
AML program rest.
Yeah.
R-E-S-T? Oh, rest, okay.
What are the basic requirements of KYC and basic CDD? Basic requirements as relates to those two.
Certified due diligence and due diligence.
Again, you will have some options. Let me help you with one. I'll give you this one. This
Which one? This is
this your Christmas present coming really then. You have 4 options. 4 this time. Not 5, but 4. So the question again, what are the basic requirements of KYC and basic CDD? And here are your 4 options. Option number 1, to identify, verify, and assess. Option number 2, to identify, have lunch, and then take their money.
That's the answer.
Politicians say.
I'm serious. Look, I'm not.
Sorry?
Sorry? Repeat the question.
Says what?
No, go ahead.
Okay.
Option 3.
So option number 3, to identify, verify, and record. And then option number 4, to run world check and Google checks. And again, I'll go back again. What are the basic requirements of KYC and CDD? 4 options. Number 1, to identify, verify, and assess. Number 2, to identify, have lunch, and take out the lunch. Number 3, to identify, verify, and record. And number 4, to run world check and Google checks. What do you think is
You
the
wrote
best
that
option?
question?
Mhm.
You did?
Mhm.
Okay.
That's a good question.
And what do you think would be the best option? You want me to run the options again?
No, I
We
have
know.
the options down.
You have the
I
options
have it
down?
narrowed down to 2. It's just one word
2?
that's killing me. Yeah, I have it narrowed down
I
to
know,
two.
I know which ones you're looking at too.
Yeah,
I know.
And why that one word is killing me.
Why not A?
Because,
Why not A?
because to me,
ID verify the
to me, my
sense.
report.
Why not?
Document. To document. Just to simply document it.
A. That's A.
How you gonna rate?
Because she said assess
Yes.
number one.
Sorry, you.
Verify the document.
What you saying, Smitty?
Stuff. Everybody got your name, don't worry.
right?
She said stuff now?
She got married yesterday.
Okay. Hey.
I think it's number one because whenever you do in due diligence, you always have to assess. I don't think you could ever, for me, I don't know. Assessment is always key to whatever you do. You have to assess. You just can't look at something and say,
You gotta access before you verify.
In all risk, you have to do an assessment.
yeah, you have to assess.
You can't get away with that. You
Yeah.
have to.
So for that word only, I would choose it.
Yeah. And recording what? What you recording? You ain't do your assessment yet.
Right.
What you recording? You have to do this number one.
Yeah.
So that's your 5 points free off me. Leave me alone. Do I ask you nothing else?
That's two.
2 points. Okay, well you get your 2 points. Leave me alone.
Access.
If you do the other one, then you'll be up to 4.
There gotta be something. Well, I ain't gonna lie. Don't come back in the ICA. Leave me alone.
You do an ICA?
I was doing the last ICA, but they said that I was giving the people too much answers. So they told me that. So don't
Go down with a bang.
leave me
Yes.
alone.
No,
So.
but
Go down
you
with a
don't
bang.
write the questions for the ICA, right?
No, but I mean in terms of helping with the papers. Yeah, it is.
Well, but they want you to do, we all in this together.
Not really. I mean, I ain't supposed to be doing one thing. I'll give you another question. An AML compliance officer receives a notice of government update, including the names of the latest terrorists sanctioned by the United Nations Security Council.
One of those came up last week.
Okay, well let me leave that one alone then. Let me go on. Let me try something.
Read it, you have to
You
stop.
say you
Stop.
saying okay, well let's stop.
All I said was Central Bank came out did one in April, the Tariq order. I think there was a new one that was added.
Okay, well let me leave that one alone then. I ain't
What?
bother with that one.
And on the exam?
It may. So I'll leave that one
Oh,
alone.
no,
So she said don't bother with that. I'll go on to something else then.
You know, no, mistakes every day. And there it is.
Well,
We all learned it.
I guess one bad apple like this.
Oh, my
I'll try another one here. This one is that's a give me. Sorry, you try the same one. Okay, I'll give it for you, Miss J. Okay, so we'll go back to that. Number 5 is just throw you right off. man.
Don't worry, I done for the day.
An AML compliance officer receives notice of government update, including the names of the latest terrorists sanctioned by the United Nations. Which would be the most appropriate step to take? You're going to be given 4 options after that. Do you immediately notify the board of directors? Option number 1. Number 2, you update the monitoring software containing sanctions poisons. Option number 3, inform the customers that their funds will be frozen.
No. That one is not.
Or do you update training information to include the latest names? Again, these are your 4 options.
B.
Do you notify the board of directors immediately? Number 2, update the monitoring software containing sanctions poisons. 3, do you inform the customers that their funds will be frozen? Or 4, will you update training information to include the latest names?
Who issued the report?
This is coming from the government.
The local government?
Yeah, because the central bank, they would always get the latest names. You get these two, number 5, when they would say these are the latest terrorists. Make sure and we have to respond saying, okay, we don't have those names in our database or whatever.
Wait for the check.
We have to do checks.
Yeah, you have.
Securities Commission does it too, and central bank. They would send us these notices and say, check your databases, make sure in line with United Nations Security Council, you don't have any of these poisons. And if it's a positive match, let us know and immediately freeze the accounts. Yeah, we have to do
What
that.
was the option 4 with the
Option 4 would be update your training material or information to include the latest names. Number 2 is update the monitoring software containing sanctions poisons.
Alright, that.
What would be your best option?
I can have a tool.
The software, because everybody can network to it.
If it was me, I would go with the option where I would update the monitoring software containing sanctions. 'Cause, I mean, that software will.
That's true.
Yeah.
Cool, yeah, because.
But I agree with you. I can't record it. But you want me to do? You want to lock me up? I'm saying this is what I would do.
I just reached my. I fall in line.
So that would be the for me that would be the appropriate, because think about it, notifying the board of directors right away. What they could do? They can't do nothing.
I think you go. I think
What
it's
we going to the
jumping.
board for?
I think it's jumping too high.
MLR compliance officer. Yeah.
So you would find out before the board, so the board would never find that out before you.
Yeah. So the point of the
But
point
that
of
is the first one, Christmas is good, you know, the first one, the first option.
I think the board. You can't do high telling the board.
no,
You
the
got other stuff to deal
board.
with.
That's your responsibility, not the
So,
board's.
because if you go to call up someone right then and there, the information is first.
Yeah, but to get the information, you need to input the so that means you need to update. You need to update that information.
Update
That's
software.
the first step you need to do. Yeah. Because we have at our institution, we have an automated tool. Yeah, and at our institution we have an automated tool. So when we get these new names, we have to scrub right away. And if the names don't pay there, we have to insert that in our caution list right away. So in the event that a name similar to that name shows up, then it will trigger an alert. Yeah. And then we would have to notify central bank that, hey, yeah, but we did our checks. We ain't got no one with the name of Kalfani, Habib, whatever. And we will also include those names in our internal software. Yeah? So we have to do that. Which act is aimed at providing stronger surveillance powers, strengthening criminal laws against terrorism, and the combating of the financing of terrorism?
That's the anti-terrorism. Okay.
I'm not going to give you the answer for that one. But that's a question that could potentially come. I'll give it again. Which act is aimed at providing stronger surveillance powers, strengthening criminal laws against terrorism, and combating money laundering? You will be given four options.
What do you mean? Give us some 4 options.
And guess what? Looking at these 4 options, it'll be a sin if you get that wrong. I can't tell you what the options are, but it'll be a sin. If you get it wrong, I failed, you failed, all us need to go home.
You know, anti-terrorism act of 2012.
No, that's not.
This is like surveillance.
That's the key word right
That's the key word right there, surveillance.
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 You mean?
In an act, when you hear that word,
In the
surveillance.
Bahamas?
No, not
Sounds
necessarily
like-
Bahamas. Maybe, who knows? Boy, you need to go to the back of the room, yeah?
Number 5, Google it.
No, I don't.
Here's another question that could potentially be there. What action should be taken regarding an account once suspicious activity is reported by the institution? Now, what do you do with that account?
Say it again.
What action? You don't need to write this down. It's just you just get it in your head. So when you see what action should be taken regarding an account once a suspicious activity is reported by that financial institution on that account, what do you do now?
You don't freeze it right away, because you have different orders. You have monitoring hours, freeze order. You have different orders, right? Yeah, you get locked up. So you can't the bank can't freeze the account.
No, we can't.
No, that's a call. That's a call order. That's a call order to central bank, right?
Sorry?
How does that
You can
work?
get a restraint order from the FIU because they have the powers to
For
restrain.
48 hours or 72
72
hours.
hours, then 5 days. 72 hours, they can restrain it. They give us what we call an administrative freeze. And but during that time, they can go to the commissioner of police and if necessary, get additional 5 days. Before that 5 days end, they have to go to Supreme Court to get indefinite restraint or freeze order. Yeah? So that's really just to give you, so you don't waste all your bullets and say, okay, let's just quickly run through all of that. Unless they want to do some activity, then you use those mechanisms. You don't want to just go and exhaust it right away. And then of course the banks, with us too, we have what we call constructive custodians. If we suspect something, we don't have to process it right away. Because we have the delay tactics too now. So we play those games too now. We were like, oh well, the system down. Then the whole bank? Yeah, down on BPNL. Because BPNL coming handy, something the generator kicking in. or we will find ways to, we need to process it and whatever. And don't let it be a Friday. Because you know, the system is still down. From this morning? Yeah. Should be up by 5 o'clock. Oh, the one to complete the transaction. Now come back Monday. We just buying time. We not to play them games. So you will you perhaps could see a question, what action would you do with that account? Now that you made a suspicious report on it, what do you do now?
There's options though, Randy.
You will have some options, yes. I cannot give you those options. You will see those options. This is a potential question that you may see. What do you do now? What do you do? You done made a report, what do you need to do? For me, one of the things I would suggest, you put that account on close monitoring.
Watch it.
You need to watch it, yeah.
Watch the
That's
cheese.
something we do, because we have an automated tool at my institution. What we do, we would just activate the close monitoring on that account. Beep. So any activity on the account, on a daily basis, we just spit out to us. We would know. Constantly, yeah, it's flagged. Yeah? But there may be one or two other things here, other options here that you may want to look at. But I'll say this much. I'll say this much to Anne. You want to look at these options, but just have in mind, what do you do now? That you know that this account, there's some cloud of suspicion around this account. You're going to be given a number of options. Let me throw another one at you. You've just been recently promoted. You're now the AML expert for your bank. You're the compliance officer, MLRO. You're being given a task to create an internal anti-money laundering policy, procedures, and controls for a recently chartered offshore financial institution. Which 3 of these options should be included? And you're going to be given a number of options to be, which should be included in your policy.
It's still a
Internal
multiple
policy.
choice.
Why? You someone writing it? That's why? No. You are an MLRO compliance officer, AML specialist. You've been given a task to create internal anti-money laundering policies, procedures, and controls for recently chartered offshore financial institution. Which 3 of these options should be included in your policy? Yeah? And you'll have a number of options to choose from. Let me give you another one. Okay, I watching the clock. I know y'all ready to go.
No, that's okay.
Listen, you ain't nothing with the devil, right? Which of the following statements is not correct in relation to risk rating? This is the last one I can give you with options, that is. So, which of the following statements is not, you gotta listen to what they say sometimes. Because you say, oh, I know this one, and then but there's some keywords in there, like how we have, in that one I gave you where surveillance was the keyword. The keyword in this one would be not. So, which of the following statements is not correct in relation to risk rating? Option number 1. Every company's risk rating framework should be approved by the board. So option number 1. Option number 2. Central Bank of the Bahamas recommends that enhanced due diligence be conducted at the onboarding phase for all customers. Option number 3. The Financial Action Task Force recommends that financial institutions should adopt a risk-based approach to dealing with CDD.
Should sound like an option.
And option number 4, the risk rating of customers was established in the Basel Committee on Banking Supervision paper on customer due diligence. See, 4 options.
That's a good question. That's a good question, but should is the operative word.
What is it? If it was me, looking at this question, because they say which of the following statements is not correct, and if you look at number 2, it says Central Bank of the Bahamas recommends that enhanced due diligence be conducted on the onboarding stage of all customers. Enhanced due diligence is for high risk. CDD is for low risk. So why would you risk all your clients high? Listen to the words. EDD is for your high risk. CDD is your, and KYC is basic. Yeah? So if you want to do it, you can give yourself a lot of work. I can tell you that much. Because that means you have to review everyone on your book because they're high risk annually. Unless you got the manpower for that, boy. So that right there was another one. That's your 4-1 now? You happy now? You got 4-1 now? Okay, you got 4. All of a sudden you stop talking, but anyhow.
Because you was talking about apples and stuff.
So just to touch it on this part again, so we wouldn't wind up. The exam is going to be 4 parts. When I say 4 parts, part A contains 10 multiple choice questions. I have given you a couple so far, possibly from the pool. And each one of the correct answer, you get 2 points. Yeah? Only 2 points, ain't much. Because it means multiple choice, the answer is there. And my lord, when you look at it, the answer is there. Just look for those keywords. Like not, should have, must, supervision. The keywords that jump out. Yeah? If you see something say must means there's possible penalties. That's a hint right there. I ain't gonna say nothing else. And it say not be done. Then you know what should be done. Because if it's a high risk client, if it's EDD, you know it's applicable for EDD and CDD. Yeah? Okay. So part B contains, you have to do 1 mandatory question. This is the big boy in the room. 20 points for that one. That's the one you should run the town on. I've actually given you an idea which the question is. I've actually given it to you so far, the date. So once you see that, that's why I said read upon this. So when you see that, you should go to town on that. I mean, beat that bad. Beat that like a goat skin drum. That's 20 points right there. Yeah?
Is there an option in this? It's just
No, that one is a mandatory one.
Just answer this question.
Yeah, you have to answer that one. Just go to town on that one. And I would say how you start off with that particular question. You want to start off by defining it. Have a working definition. That's why I keep saying have a working definition of this. What are the consequences for this? What are the positives for this? And are there any standards for this? You know, everything starts with a standard. We don't just do nothing because we want to do it. Everything comes from up north or Europe. They dictate would be, oh Lord, Ginger, you about to say something. You was going to say something, right?
No, I wasn't.
Okay, well, you keep making that face though. So, part C, you're going to have 6 questions. Out of that 6 questions, you have to choose 4. Yeah? And each one of those would be 10 points, a total of 40 points. And how I see it is only 3 of them are tricky, 3 are straightforward. So that's almost 30 right there. You should be that bad on. You should look at that and say, okay. And this is a hint.
So Bishop.
Those ones that look like, those ones that are pretty easy, those 3, jump on those first. Get them out of the way first. That's your 30 points, yeah? So don't try to hurt your head. Oh, this one, I stuck at time. You ain't got time to be stuck. Knock those 3 out of the way quick. Beat them bad. Then come back to that delinquent child.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? So get those out of the way. And even if you put half a decent effort, that's still 5 points. Yeah? On that 4th one. But the trick is this. Answer everything that you're required to. Don't say, well, oh, this one look hard, because you may be on track. Don't say, well, you may get a percent of it. Not the full 10 points, but you will get 5. You will leave 5 points on the table.
Mm-hmm.
You go to the buffet with half a plate. And then there's part D. True or false. Those true or false ones, I feel like I insulting your intelligence with that, man. You should, oh Lord, you should drop kick that, beat that, punch that up, knock that crazy. That the true or false one is really you all should get 20%, 20 points easy.
10 questions.
It's 10, 2 points each. And it's almost an insult because we went over those 10 questions before in the class. So y'all didn't know, but we were going over them before and y'all should beat them bad.
Which class we ran over this?
None yet. So when you look at it, you've already done your class attendance. You already got 10%. You'd have done your papers. Everyone in here has given me papers so far, except Ann. So everyone has given me papers. So the paper, granted, you get.
Well, wait a register. That's 10 points.
Your register is 10%. Yeah, you have 10% right there. And your paper is already 20. That's 30% right there. You notice to go into exam and you already got 30% out of the 100% rate. Thank you, sir. Good man. So everyone is given the paper so that we can start marking these and get that out of the way. The exam, like I said, once you would have gotten, I'm comfortable that with the exam, no one in here in this room should at least get, on a bad day, 85 out of the 100 of that exam. Because once you would have passed the, what?
You marking it? I'm only asking. A friend want to know, are you marking the paper?
I will, because there's an answer key for the easy
You
one, the
answering
straightforward. The
it? I thought a
straightforward.
lawyer answered the last time.
No, it's a collaboration this time. I didn't have anything to do with your paper last time, but I've actually drafted some of the questions for this one.
Yeah,
So
but you drafted the questions. Who's marking the paper?
He just said they marking it.
the other reason I so hate you right now. But anyhow, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna have a part of this where I'll be assisting with the marking.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an answer key. This ain't so hard. The short answer ones, there's certain elements that we're looking for.
Okay.
Yeah? Let me give you an example. If you say, what's the definition of money laundering? There's certain elements you're looking for. Yeah? Certain things you're just looking at, predicate events. Something bad had happened before. Yeah? You're trying to disguise the true identity or the true origin of the funds. There's certain elements that you look for. So when you respond, the examiner will be looking for certain things out of the paper. Yeah? And you'll be graded on that. So example, the question is 10 points. I'm looking at you hitting on certain points. And I'll give you, two marks here, 2 marks there. But if you only hit on,
One or two.
yeah, maybe 3, you get 6. Yeah? So certain things you're looking for. That's why I keep stressing, we did bad, cover all areas. So when you send that paper in, you have exhausted or cover most of the areas, if not all. So you get the full mark. I see no reason why this test you shouldn't pass. Now the intro one, with some folks may have done before, like I said, I had to do that, ain't got to do with me. But this one, you really ain't got no excuse. You really ain't got no excuse in this one. But let me see what else in here I may have touched on. I touched on the multiple choice. We got those. I'll give you one last one for the road because it's a rainy day. You know, I said, you know what? This is a Christmas present going home. No. Well, actually, this is a 2-point. So, in determining what risk or risks a customer poses, which huh? Or she. What was I thought she was asking me something just like. Well, anyhow, you don't get it. Yeah, all right. So, in determining what risks a customer poses, which consideration should not be a major factor. Your options include: what is the customer's ethnic heritage? Number 2. Number 2, what occupation or type of business does the customer derive the income? Where the customer resides? What is the size of the customer's institution? And again, the question posed: in determining what risk a customer poses, which consideration should not be a major factor? Should not be a major factor. Option number 1, what is the customer's ethnic heritage? Number 2, what occupation or type of business does the customer derive their income? Number 3, where the customer resides or the business is headquartered? And option number 4, what is the size of the customer's institution?
Repeat A.
A, what is the customer's ethnic heritage?
I think that'll be the best answer.
Anyone disagree? No? Bishop, what was that?
When you say I stop listening.
I think the ethnicity.
Your answer would be 8, so that's another 2 points. So number 5, that's 6 points. That's 6 points.
Number 5 to Jeffrey's long time.
So having said that, that would mean you would have those 6 points. You'd already attended class. You got that 10%. Your paper's already submitted. That's another 20%. All you need to do now, get yourself a good cup of tea that day. Come in there, look at those chalk answers, knock those out, As a matter of fact, you would want to get those out of the way first. Those multiple choice and your true or false is easy. Low fence, low hanging fruit. Knock them out. Then go to your, I would suggest your mandatory question. Yeah? Because that's 20%. That's the big one. That's the big boy. Knock that out. Then you go to you choose your 4 or the 6. Yeah? With the remaining time you have. If you do that, you should be good. Anyone who don't feel confident that they going into the exam that they not, I should be put no doubt no one head. Everyone can pass. Everyone can pass. I wouldn't say it's reassuring. That's I'm putting that out there, but now hey, that's fake. Now you gotta wait. That's fake. What they say, you have to have
Fake without works is dead.
So you gotta marry the two. Did anyone not get a copy of the Unexplained Wealth order?
That could be on the exam.
It's a good 50-50. It'll be there.
Coin flip.
Oh, yeah, for Bishop. Okay, let me give you one. Okay, can you give that to Miss J. So Bishop?
I know, right?
Everyone gave you the paper, so that's good. So we have that covered off. Don't forget to sign the register because this, we use that to tally that everyone was there. And I guess we won't see you guys next week. So you go to your farewell, O. Henry. Yeah.
2 weeks?
Yeah.
What was next week?
No.
Yeah,
But the thing about it,
The ace of it.
so the thing about it is this: you would go. The last thing, folks. I know Ginger ready to run on here. I would have given you the areas primarily look over. If you look over those particular areas and you can expand on those in short answers, you have no excuse. I would have done my part. So if you see me on the road, don't throw a rock at me and let it. I would have done my part. Amen. So having said that, folks, have a successful exam. Anyone else with the papers, send them to me. I'll give you the email so you can send that to me. The email is Randy. You writing it down?
Randy.taylor100@yahoo.com.
Yes, Randy.taylor100.
Questions, queries, and concerns?
Yeah, I guess this is the last thing, Lena. So if you got any concerns, yeah, you could. So everyone, if you need my email address,
Mr. Taylor had my address blocked, so you can things from me.
it's randy.taylor100@yahoo.com. So if you have something pressing that pop up during that
Let's
time.
mess somebody. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna call him if I need him.
I know, right? So if you,
Take care.
so
So you're
I
not
was
gonna be
some
doing the
papers.
ICA.
Only if the places request me. That's how they operate. So I'm evaluated after every session. Yeah, so we have to get evaluated. If not, then you'll see something.
I gotta put your name in the pool.
All right, Bishop. All right. So what was that? That was a question? What's the question? Sorry?
What time is the exam?
It's the same time,
12:30. And then when could we expect? Sorry.
Paperback? I should have those paper. I should have those marked by. You mean you won't get it back?
I mean,
But I'll have it marked this week.
So you might need me on Saturday. Or you want to contact me?
No. You can get once you do the exam. You finish, the day you finish the exam, be marked that Monday you get everything back. But you want to have an age as the way
Yeah.
you can contact me. You have my email address.
Because then
I don't want to do anything. Sorry.
that'll help me understand if I was on the right track.
You have my email address.
Okay. So
Yeah.
when's the
Which one are you? You Miss Colleen?
Stuff.
No, I'm calling.
Stuff. When you begin stuff. Oh, okay. Stuff now. Why is calling you Smith? News answer.